Welcome to r/RedditRevenge. This is a story of someone getting back at someone with revenge after being wronged. Thank you, friends, for subscribing to the channel and for so many likes. The first story, Big O says I got bad parts. My mechanic says I didn't have bad parts. Big O winds up giving me a full set of new tires, $40 and a free oil change. The second story, coworker calls out new guy for using electrical tape. I mock him calling his workout with tons of errors, with pictures and customer complaints, and he isn't happy. The third story, the boss did not give out my entire salary, so I decided to take revenge. And the first story is, when Karen is the manager, scam diverted. This is the story of how I got screwed over by a Big O tire store and got my revenge. The manager had a very Karen-y haircut and vibe to her, but I still got what was rightfully mine out of her. Back around 8,000 miles ago, I took my Ford Flex, which was in desperate need of some tread, to get new tires. I was a little low on money, so I took it to Big O Tires because I had a credit card for the franchise from buying tires there. Everyone around will tell you that anytime you bring your car in, they will inevitably find some work that needs to be done to try to get more money out of you. I wish I had known this sooner. I went in and the manager was the one to help me price tires and find the right ones for me. My Flex has 19-inch rims on it, so the tires that go on them are expensive, but I was paying on a card, so I didn't care. I find the tires I wanted and opted for a good tire that would last me at least 60,000 miles. I ask her to put the tires on and do an alignment after they get them fitted. Then I go sit down in the waiting area and wait for the job to be complete. I'm sitting in the waiting area when a greasy mechanic comes out of the shop and starts looking around. Greasy mechanic: who's got the Ford Flex? Me. I do. Greasy mechanic: we went to do your alignment, and we found that your inner and outer tie rods are bad all the way around, and you need new rear lateral arms. It'll cost about $1,300 to do here, but we can do it. You want us to get on that? Me, jaw dropped. No? Greasy mechanic: well, we can't do an alignment on bad parts. Me: okay, then just give me the keys, I guess. As I'm signing the final paperwork, the manager is stressing to me that the bad parts I'm driving on could destroy my new tires. My friend who was actually working there at the time pulled me aside and told me that they looked like they were wearing down, but that they didn't need to be replaced yet, so I left the store. Fast forward about 8,000 miles later, it's now April. The inside of my tires on the rear had been worn down completely smooth. The front tires only had about half the tread life remaining, and I'm still making payments on the tires. When I'm driving down the road, there's a steady noise coming from the tires, from being so unevenly worn down. It was around this time I had finally gotten money together to fix my bad parts. So I go to my mechanic, who's honest and had never tried to pull the wool over my eyes and will give me a decent price. I tell him what the mechanic and manager at Big O Tires told me was wrong with it and tell him to get it fixed and hand him the keys. About 3 hours later, he calls me back. My mechanic: hey, I'm looking at your car, and the only thing wrong with it was you had a stuck right rear brake caliper. Me: so everything else was fine. My mechanic: yeah, everything to do with your suspension was in perfect shape. No play in the tie rods. It looks like you just need an alignment pretty badly. Me: okay, thank you. Will you put a new caliper on there for me? My mechanic: yeah, I'm on it. If I was you, I'd take it down to the dealership. They do all my alignment, and they aren't going to pull any bullcrap on you like that. Me: okay, thanks. After hearing that my parts were fine and my tires could have been saved by a simple alignment, I was livid. So I called up Big O, and the conversation was pretty short. I'm not going to post the conversation, but to sum it up, she told me that she wasn't trying to say my mechanic was lying, but that he doesn't have a laser rack or the proper equipment to know if those parts are bad. She then goes on to explain in great detail why my parts were bad and try and make me feel stupid. She wanted me to have him replace all those parts and bring it in for an alignment. I told her I'd see what Tony Brown had to say about it. When I pulled up to the dealership, I walked in and told them what had happened and what was supposedly bad with my car, and they did my alignment with no fuss, and cheaper. So the next day after I got home from work, I pulled in the driveway of my house and looked at my passenger seat where my ticket was for the alignment I had gotten done. Something just took me over, and I put my car into reverse, pulled out of my driveway, and started heading to the Big O. I called my mom on the way because she knew what I was going through and how stressful it was for me, and told her I was about to go make a show in front of their customers and see where I could make things go from there. She was excited and wanted to listen in, so I left her on the phone with my Bluetooth headphones around my neck where she could hear everything. As I walked into the store, I was feeling nervous, but just shoved it all to the side when I seen how many customers there was. At least 7 people in the store looking at tires or waiting for their cars to get done. I walked up to the front desk and waited patiently for the manager to get done talking with another customer. Front desk employee: hi, can I help you? Me ignores her and looks at the manager as she's finishing up. Hi, are you the manager? Manager: yes, I am. Me: hi, I believe I spoke with you on the phone a day or two ago. I wanted to speak to you in regards to the work done to my vehicle. Manager, okay, what's your name? I tell her my name, and her employee starts to pull up my file. As she's looking me up, I start telling my story, and I tell it loud enough for all the customers in the store to hear. Me, well, when I came in here, I was refused an alignment because of bad parts. Manager, we can't do an alignment on bad parts. Me, let me finish, okay? I was told I needed to pay $1,300 before they would do my alignment because of bad parts, and $1,300 is a lot of money, so I just took my car home so I could start saving up money for the repairs I thought I needed. Eventually, when I was feeling like I could afford it, I took it to my mechanic, who told me my parts were fine. You told me he didn't have the right equipment, so I took it to the dealership, who has the same rack as you. They did my alignment and told me my parts were fine. Shows her my alignment paperwork. The sheet shows the before and after of an alignment, and my rear left tire was cambered out, negative 2.3 degrees. She was trying to tell me before my tires were worn so bad on the inside because the parts were bad. It was really just an alignment issue. Manager, let me go talk to my mechanic. She walks into the shop for about 10 minutes, and I see them walk through the bay doors to go out and look at my tires. She comes back inside and tells me how sorry she is, and comes up with the excuse that there was 2 Ford Flexes in the shop that day, and the mechanic that was there that day got the tickets mixed up, and my Flex never even went on the rack. She then goes on to say she'll replace 2 of my tires for free and refund me the $40 rack fee I was charged that day. I came back the next day for my 2 free tires and rack fee, feeling like I've won, but still upset because the other 2 tires I was sporting only had about 50% tread left on them when they were supposed to last me way longer. I decided to write a Google review for all to see. It was basically 3 paragraphs on everything you've just read. 1 week later, I received a phone call from Big O, but I was busy, so I let it go to voicemail. The voicemail was basically the manager saying that she was confused, why I would leave such a review, and asked me to call back and see what we can do to fix it. After I was free, I called her back. Me, hey, I missed a call? Manager, yes, I had just seen your Google review this morning and my jaw dropped. I thought that everything was okay after we gave you 2 free tires and refunded your rack fee, and now you've left this review saying you'll never be back, except for your free rotations while they last. What can we do for you to just take the review down? Me, I was upset because while I got 2 of my tires fixed, I'll have to end up replacing those other tires well before my new ones, when they should have all been the same tread to begin with. Manager, so if I give you 2 more free tires, will you remove the review? We just don't want to have to deal with corporate, and if anyone reads that, it will lose us customers. Me, yeah, sure, I'll remove it as soon as the tires are on my rims. Manager, I'll have them here tomorrow then. So I stop in and get 2 more free tires fitted on my vehicle. I couldn't stop smiling the whole time I was signing the paperwork. The second manager even told me that because I had to come back in so much, that she was giving me a free oil change next time I came into the store. I edited my review to say that I had a bad experience, but the managers did what they could to make things right and changed it from 1 star to 3 stars. They asked me if I would still shop for my tires with them, and I told them I would, but you couldn't pay me to go buy tires there again. I took my win and my free oil change and walked right out of there. The second story is, coworker calls out my partner's work on a job. I do the same. So I install automated systems for customers, and at this particular job I did a few months ago with the new worker, I'll call him Trey, so he didn't really know much, so I was teaching him. He made a few mistakes instead of using zip ties and wire nuts. He wrapped up the wires with electrical tape, which to me is not a big deal, since nobody can really see it unless you work for our company servicing the equipment. Last week on a group chat, another coworker, I'll call him Deuce, took pictures of my Trey's work that he had done using electrical tape, and wrote a long text saying that we shouldn't be using electrical tape on job sites, even though we're provided with electrical tape by our company. Trey had told Deuce that he was new at the time, he used the tape, but Deuce put the blame on me instead, because I was the senior guy, and I was like, okay, if you're gonna criticize our work, make sure that your work is immaculate. I got sent to a site that Deuce had worked on, and the customer had all kinds of complaints, because Deuce had cut corners, and I took tons of pictures, and it took me about 6 hours to fix the issues, and some issues I couldn't even fix because I didn't have the right parts. When I was done, I wrote a long text message, imitating Deuce's message earlier, and uploaded all the pictures that I had taken, and basically calling him out, and saying the customer wasn't happy. My manager started the group chat, so he saw everything. My other coworkers, not Trey or Deuce, in the group chat were laughing, because I almost imitated Deuce's text word for word, and he didn't respond at all, and at the end of the message I wrote that if you're going to criticize someone else's work, make sure your work is immaculate. About a half an hour later, my manager called me laughing, saying that the Deuce, who had written the original text message, was very upset, and that I needed to stop being petty even though it was funny. And I told him that I didn't like that he threw the new guy under the bus, and I made sure I'd throw him under an 18-wheeler, and the group chat has been a lot calmer now since then. The last story is refueling and drive-offs. Some years ago, I was working in a petrol station, run by an Indian chap and his family. I was casual and only did Friday and Saturday nights, and sometimes a shift to cover someone who was sick. Anyway, the boss got a bee in his bonnet about drive-offs. That's when someone fills up and then leaves without paying. According to his little fantasy world, that was the fault of not only the driver, but of the person on service. He decides without consultation that he would simply deduct the cost of the drive-off from the wages of the person on till. I came into work on Friday night, collected my pay from the drawer, and found out I was about $120 short. As I generally only earned about $300, this was a big chunk. I ranked the boss and inquired why my pay was short. He explained that as I'd had 2 drive-offs totaling $120, he took it out of my pay. I explained that that was illegal and that he had to pay the rest. He refused. Okay then, I close the store, turn off the lights, lock the doors, and go home. This is Friday night, possibly the busiest night of the week. The next morning comes. I get a series of increasingly desperate voicemails as I switched off my phone until I woke up. The signs haven't been changed, the stock hasn't been put up, the fuel delivery turned away, as no one was there to sign for it. Deliveries of food and drinks have not been accepted. Basically, the weekend was F for the store. Eventually, the boss manages to get a hold of me, where he spends the next 10 minutes screaming down the phone, claiming I was inconsiderate, rude, and a bad person. I replied, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, and hung up on him. Eventually, his wife, who is the accountant, rang, gave a fairly sincere apology, said that my lost wages would be in my next paycheck, and to please come into work that evening. No, I need that cash now, this week. If it's in the drawer when I get there this evening, I'll work. Otherwise, I'll leave. The money was there. He refused to talk to me for several weeks, like I cared, but he didn't try that crap on me again.
Thank you all for so much comments and likes. I really appreciate it. Have a good day.